listening to It's All Good, Magic, Mysticism, and Earth Medicine. Check us out by visiting www.magicandmedicine.blogspot.com. I'm your host, Dr. Candace Nadine Breen.
And hello, everyone, and happy March. Whoops, hang on. I don't know why that's happening twice. Hold on. Oh, fall. Here we go. Okay, sorry about that. You didn't want two intros, did you? So here it is, March 2nd, actually. And hello, I am your Mystic Queen, Dr. Candace Nadine Breen. So today we're going to talk about preparation. Preparation because it is March, preparing for the blossoming of spring. I've noticed outside in my yard, my daffodils have started to peek their little selves above ground. And a couple of our magnolia tree has some buds on it. It's still rather cold, but you can see signs of spring approaching all around. I have not removed the leaves from around my plants and other vegetation because it's sort of the leaves sort of play the role as being a blanket, and the blanket keeps them warm. And I'd like to wait until at least April before I start moving leaves from around them, because then I know it's a little bit safe and they won't get frosty or any of those things. Plants have feelings too, and I wear a coat so they can have their nice blanket and be warm. So this time of year, we call this Ostara. If you don't know how to spell it, Ostara. And this time is a calling to, nature calls us, the universe is calling upon us to connect with all forms of life, not just other people, but the trees, get connected with nature and other forms of life. As I said, is that you're probably noticing signs of emerging life around you during this time. It's a period of transformation where all the things that have remained dormant during the winter months are now transforming into these blossoming into these beautiful and wonderful new forms of life for all of us to enjoy. Things are about to burst into bloom, and there's this period, this feeling of anticipation of spring. Here in New England, winters are long, and people all over the place start to get itchy and ready for the warm weather to come. I know for me, my hands want to touch the earth, and I love gardening. So as I've mentioned several times on the show, I love gardening, and I get so anxious, and I can't wait to just start to get my hands in the dirt. I totally enjoy that, and planting and tending to my plant babies and things like that. We have plants in the home, lots of them, in fact. So I play with them in the winter, and some of them grow babies, so I repot them and things like that. So it's sort of get my plant fix during the winter months. So in order to get to spring, we must first get through the long winter months, sort of like labor. Those of you who were fortunate enough to give life to beings. Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm recording, and all sorts of things are happening today. Sorry. My phone is on vibrate just in case I get messages from school or my husband, and guess who calls my husband? So I'm going to tell him recording show. Okay. So I'll talk to him later. Okay. There we go. Back to the episode here. So those of us who have been fortunate enough or however you think of it, to give birth to children. We think of that as anticipation. The earth is pregnant during winter, and winter with all this life within her. And we can't wait to see how beautiful it's going to be once spring comes. And that's the same way with pregnancy. You have this being within you, and there's this so long period of anticipation. When is the baby going to come? What's the baby going to look like? Can't wait to hold the baby. Can't wait to see the baby. And that's the way we should think of Mother Earth during the winter months. Also, nothing beautiful comes without work, correct? Without toil. During labor, you have this child and you're holding them and taking care of them by eating and all that stuff like that. And then you have the hard part, getting the baby out. And then there's this beautiful, beautiful being. And so true with all the buds that are pushing their way up out of the soil, to meet you, to meet the sun, to meet the bees, whatever. This is an exciting time for me. It's spending time out in nature. In my garden, I call it my no stress garden. I don't allow anyone to come in to bring any static into my place of peace. Everyone knows that. If you're going to yell and scream and act crazy, you're not allowed. And also during this time, we all think of this as spring cleaning, which is something that's really good that you should just practice, not just of cleaning your home, but cleansing yourself, getting rid of any toxic relationships or toxic people who cause you imbalance or any type of stress. So always sage. You should sage regularly, but especially during this time when you're preparing to welcome in the warmth of spring. Sage your home, cleanse it in preparation for the beauty of the upcoming months, and to welcome in those things that are beneficial for you once you get rid of the toxicity that's around in your life, if there's any. Now, be aware of your light during this time and your shadow as well. Don't ignore it. Don't pretend that it doesn't exist. It does. We all have that shadow part of it. And we should honor both our light and shadow parts equally. Know that they're there, and know that they both serve a purpose. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of your shadow part. Okay? Don't be afraid of it. During this time, your spirit guides are closer to you. They want to give you more wisdom and encouragement as you prepare to go into this new season, taking with you the wisdom of your slumber, the winter, and applying it to creative knowing, which will be your spring. So you're taking all of that energy that you had stored up in the winter months being in the house, and then you use all that energy for springtime, whether it's gardening, cleansing, doing a new project, something. And that's why you see people, they bust out their shorts, sometimes prematurely. During the spring, if it's like 50 degrees, you see people windy. You see people busting out shorts and t-shirts, and especially here, it's hilarious. And because they're excited, they have all of this pent up energy that they've been holding in them since winter. And once they see the first ray of sunlight and a decent temperature, they just can't, all the energy just explodes, and they can't hold themselves back anymore. And they're just ready. They are ready, and they're welcoming in the warm months and the sun. And the sun, here comes the sun. That's how people are. They're just, yes, here comes the sun. That's what I think of when spring comes. That some song comes in my mind. So I have lots of notes here. Remember, this is a good time to play, Not always work, 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 but remember to play. Be creative. Participate in things that may inspire you and cause your creativity to bloom. It's a perfect time to experiment. This season does represent the emergence of the goddess from the underworld, manifesting the physical rebirth of springtime. And that's Ostara. That's what Ostara represents. This is a time to celebrate, a time to open our arms wide and to welcome in goodness and all good things. Now, don't be afraid to let toxicity, toxic people drop off or distance yourself from them in order to prepare to be new for this spring, new life. And how are you going to prepare? I'll give you an example. My daughter, we love her so much. She's 11, and there was this girl in her class, in her grade, that she was friends with initially during the beginning of the school year. But she quickly discovered that she didn't want to be friends with her because the girl was exhibiting some very unfavorable behavior. She was swearing at the teachers. She ran through the hall sticking up her middle finger and to everyone, to all the teachers actually. And then she talked about being buddies with demons and just sicking demons after people. And she also threatened to kill one of my daughter's friends, which was very disturbing. And my daughter at first told her, "I'm not your friend anymore." And the girl said, "But why?" And she said to her, "Well, you know why." But she didn't stop there. The girl clung to her. And so there was this big meeting and counselor and all this other stuff. And then my daughter finally walked up to her and said, "I can't be your friend anymore. I don't like the things that you're doing. They're not great. They're not good for me." And I was so proud of her. And I was so proud of her. That she knows that there would have been consequences. We talked about any consequences, especially with someone who's a little bit unstable, as that girl was. But we're very proud that she stood up for herself and that she knew that this person was toxic for her and that she had to get rid of this. She had to distance herself from this toxic person. That doesn't mean that my daughter's going around treating her rude and stuff like that. She's just not friends with her. She's not hanging with her, doing things with her, chatting with her. She'll smile and continue on. That's it. But sometimes we have to do that in order to move forward, or we'll be stuck in the death of winter and we won't experience that new, fresh feeling that spring offers us. So it's spring cleaning, not just your home or your car or your office or whatever, but spring cleaning people and situations that are toxic for you out of your life so you can welcome in the beauty and the newness of spring and new opportunities and things of that nature. Now, and during this time, balance. It's all about balance. Balance work and play. Remember, be mindful of your words and your actions. Now, from one of my books that's fastly becoming my favorite book here, the Book of Blessings and Rituals, there is a blessing and invocation that you can use during this time, and I'm going to read it to you because I like to read. So it's for the spring equinox, Ostara, and as I said earlier, it's a calling to connect with all forms of new life. It's a time to celebrate. Now you're going to say the following blessing aloud to honor this new cycle of life. And I'll read it to you. As the wheel of the year turns east, the air warms and sweetens, and the sun dances in the sky. The ice of winter has become a flowing stream, nourishing emergent life. I call to you, Ostara, goddess of the dawn, to help my intentions grow and blossom, like your wildflowers and your fruits. Bless me as I seek to cultivate my dreams with inspired vitality. I celebrate fertility of all kinds and honor my existence as a sexual being capable of giving and sustaining life. With each new sunrise, Gaia finds her balance, masculine and feminine, united, entwined. And as I watch now, as light overtakes the darkness, all of life reaches new now for the sky, for liberation, for expansion and healing. I sing the song of spring and kindle hope in my heart. I ask for blessings of fertility and beauty upon all of Gaia's children. Aho, and so it is. I hope you take time to prepare, to honor this new cycle of life, and that you rid yourself of anything that is anchoring you and not letting you cross into the beauty of the spring equinox. As always, thank you for listening. Check us out. We're on Patreon, by the way, under Magic and Medicine, patreon.com/magic with a K and medicine. There's articles. You can follow us. You can help us pay for the show. Donate any amount, $1 even is fine. And always check out the website, magicandmedicine.blogspot.com. And of course, you'll find on that, you'll find a whole bunch of stuff. You'll find the show, of course, articles, services, link to the the Magic Queen's cabinet, which has lots of consciously grown herbs and things that are specially for you, as well as other things. Check us out on Facebook and talk to you soon. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to It's All Good, Magic, Mysticism, and Earth Medicine. Visit us anytime at www.magicandmedicine.blogspot.com.